This is a test. See how well my internet is now working after having fussed and fought and fooled with um, Costa Rican service provider. And I need to explain about that because that's really what I'm talking about today. The manana. I'm sorry I didn't put the little umlaut thing over there, um, over the in. I tried. I apparently suck at that too. So anyway, my keyboard, my Firefox does not recognize it, so I did not need to put manana. I meant to put manana, something very different. Okay, this is the big thing that prevents Americans from staying here. This is the thing that everybody struggles with. I struggle with it too, but most of the time I can have a good attitude about it and get through it. Today was particularly frustrating. You know, I've had internet troubles here. Hey, that Amber chick. You know, I've had internet troubles here. I would run a speed check and I would have almost zero on uploads, which made doing this really hard. And a lot of times I would have to do it until the feed dropped and then I would just get off. That's the same as here, so I'm testing it now. Um, hey, police wife. Hey, Cindy. The hard thing about living here that Americans don't do well with and that I've struggled with today is the manana. We have been going for over a week now arguing with the people at ISE. They run our cable internet, our TV, our internet here. I had no problems with them for a long time, but now I've got zero upload speeds for the last 3 or 4 months, and that's been very frustrating, very frustrating. And it impacts this. So yesterday, when I finally got them to come out, and that's the other thing, they won't come out quickly. The first 3 or 4 times we asked them to come out, they closed the ticket without coming out at all, saying they couldn't find our house without bothering to call us. Even though it's in the instructions, you have to call us because we're in a weird little corner of the world where there are no addresses and the best directions. I always tell people take a take a left at the first house of ill repute sign, take second a left at the next house of ill repute sign, go past the house of ill repute, hang a right, and we're the third house, third gate. Easy, easy peasy. Well, they decided not to. They decide here. They no, this as far as getting something done yesterday, that doesn't happen here. We call it the manana here. Manana. So 3 or 4 times they just closed out the ticket without even coming. And we went through this before. We went through 3 weeks of this at one time. I've learned that the only way to really get it done is to show up at the ESA office and say, hey, I want this done. I want this done now. And they'll get done a little sooner, but you still have some manana you have to deal with. Today at the ESA office, I discovered that 1 megabyte, I guess it is, of upload is the most I can get here. To get decent, to get a high number of upload, if it was available and is not available, it would be $378 a month. I don't know anybody who needs it that badly. So I'm trying to get them to stick with the 1 meg because if I had 1 meg, this would work a whole lot better. Yeah, I'm that way too. And I used to be hell on Comcast. Comcast was my provider in the States. And anytime I went down, I was on the phone calling them, telling them, you better get your ass over here right now and fix this thing because I'm paying money. And they were pretty good about coming out. Here, it's not quite the same, like I said. And that's the thing that runs a lot of Americans back to the States from here. A lot of people will come here and say, oh, it's so beautiful, it's so wonderful, so peaceful. And then they hit the manana wall. Manana. I also sometimes call it the Costa Rican FU because it seems sometimes that it's almost a dragging of feet just to be dragging feet. But if you can outlast it, you can get them to do it. You just have to keep politely requesting it again and again and again. The idea of quick service is an anathema to them. They don't do it. They don't understand how you can't understand when you request service from them, why you can't understand it's the manana and it may be the 3 weeks manana. I knew that before I got here. I knew that well before I got here. I had read Nadine. I can't even think of her last name. Hey, Jim, what's Nadine's last name? He must be out of range because he's not saying. Nadine wrote a book called Happier Than a Billionaire. And it's a pretty good book. It's probably the best one I've seen on Costa Rica compared to a lot of the other ones. She has some things that she misses, but most of it is pretty right on the money. Her explanation of the manana and getting things done, she warns everybody before they get here. As long as you know about it and you can deal with it. This has been the manana that's frustrating for me, the internet, because I'm used to high speed internet. I'm used to Comcast jumping and coming here as soon as getting out there, as soon as I've called them. I'm used to that. I'm not used to this manana for this. And what has been particularly frustrating about this entire experience is that I've been repeatedly asked to show them to prove that I have zero upload speeds. And I've had to do speed tests and say, here, speed test. Here, I'm running speed test on my iPad and showing you I have no upload speeds. So I'm not going anywhere. This is not going to run me off because I'm not that kind, but I have going to go swim in a few minutes to burn off some of the frustrations. I always tell people when they come here, you have to understand this is not American culture by any stretch of the imagination. They don't get American culture. We don't get their culture. It's not even a matter of understanding their culture so much as it is to saying, can I tolerate this? Can I live through this? Hey, JC Mills, can I deal with this? Most of the time, it's fine. It's just every now and then you're going to hit one of these patches. Of course, if you're expecting everything to be like the United States, you're going to have problems anyway because there's not shopping here, any of the things. But that's okay because for me, that means I do crazy shopping once a year, and I order a lot of stuff from Amazon. Amazon, I've got my Amazon packages in just over a week with the with their program, and they pay the taxes. They collect all that up front. You know right up front what you're getting. Yeah, police wife. It's a good place to come visit. And I always encourage people who think they're going to live here to come rent for 6 months because 6 months will give you a good idea whether or not you can adjust to the culture. Like I said, this to me has been the hardest thing is the manana. And especially hard if it's super important and you want it done in English so that you can understand what's going on. The people at the bank have been wonderful. I've had nothing but there's no manana going on there. So it is the culture is slowly changing. Things are getting better, but like I said, places like ISE, and ISE is a government agency that also runs like internet and cable and stuff in areas like this where nobody does provision. We're starting to get a few more providers of that here, and we'll have more options, and we'll be able to do like the Americans and say, I am switching to the next company. I am switching to Telecable or Kika Cobble or one of the other brands. When they finally came through here, we now have one more provider, and I'm getting ready to call them and see what they got going on and what their upload speeds look like because this has gotten pretty darn ridiculous. Well, it depends, sweet tea, on the rent. Um, it really depends upon where you are. Where we were in Cope up in the mountains, it was about you get a house for $150 easily. A nice little Tico house, $150 a month. Um, where we are, the rents are a little higher because you're near the beach. But there are cabinas to be rented for like $400 a month here, which I don't think is too bad, actually. If you want the luxury American experience, you're going to probably pay anywhere from $1,200 to $2,000. And they're going to say, hello, gringo, when they see you coming. The trick is to not seem like a gringo when you're negotiating because everything here is, well, not everything, but many things here are very negotiable, especially when you start talking about people coming to your house to fix things or to rent you property or that sort of thing. It's negotiable. And I would always recommend if you have a Tico friend, bringing them with you. Now, you have to keep in mind if you're going to go look at, yes, dogs are here. People are bringing their dogs back and forth all the time. I had a friend here that would, every time she flew to the States, she'd stick that dog in her bag or a small dog carrier, stick him under the seat, and go back and forth easily. You just have to bring animals here, they just have to have, um, they're all their shots, of course, and a very recent exam showing that they're healthy. And you have to schedule to have the veterinarian here meet you. A lot of people don't do that. They just go back and forth and bring their animals and nobody ever says a thing. But I'm just telling you what to stay legally, you would have to do that. Now they do have some restrictions on bringing animals. I could not bring my cats. I had four cats. I was not able to bring my three cats here. I was not able to bring any of the three. Two of them are quite old. They don't let you bring super old animals here. One of them, my Siamese cat, had cancer, a large cancer. I mean, a large one that they took out of him because he had mast cell. How weird is that? He had mast cell, I had mast cell. And the other cat has had asthma. So, so I was not allowed to bring any of the three. The cancer one could not be vaccinated. And the other two were just ancient, and they weren't going to allow that. But for the most part, if your animal is in good health and is of young age, well, not death's door like 20 years old age, because my cats, that's what they were. They were like old, 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 and I had them forever. Oh, you're getting some water, Amber? Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. Just stay inside. Trained Helen shots, only 14 pounds. That is a good one. That was one that you would have no problem getting here. They seem to be a lot more lenient on bringing dogs in than cats for some reason. But that's okay because I'm feeding 10,000 trillion strays here. So they would go through so much dry cat food here with the strays. And we have our own little Stinky, our one little cat here. It's a culture where there are a lot of dogs and a lot of cats, and it'll break your heart if you live here any length of time and you see the strays. The strays are everywhere. I know tons of Americans that do animal rescue. Dr. Cavallini, who's here in this area, he does animal rescue. He's an excellent vet. Tornadoes, rain, and hail. Oh, ha, ha, ha. Okay, that's not good. Please stay safe, Amber, because this is just that's just crazy. Rainy season. And that's the other thing. We're in the middle of dry season here. We have exactly two seasons. We don't have winter, fall, fall, winter, spring, and summer. We don't do that here. It's two seasons. Rainy season, dry season. We're towards the end of dry season. Dry season is 5 months of the year where not a drop of rain falls. We have to go out and water our plants every day to save them from dying. Our banana tree fell down and we lost the bananas. So no matter how much you water, there are going to be times when you lose stuff. The other season is rainy season, which is okay. It means it rains a lot, but it doesn't rain every single day except October. October is a rain fest. October 1st, October 31st, rain, 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 rain. I do the majority of my quilting and reading in October because there's not a whole lot else to do. And if you go out there to swim, you're going to be swimming in the rain. And there's some months in between where there's some rain and some sunshine, but it's not entirely rain. It's not entirely. It is hell on the plants in the yard, and so we're always out there watering. One of us is watering right before we go and get into the pool, and we're constantly filling the pool up because, of course, when you have dry weather, you've got evaporation, and there's nothing replacing it. But on rainy season time, the pool overflows. You look out there and suddenly you have a seamless line pool, that thing that everybody pays major money for. It's like, oh goodness, the pool and hot tub are even with the ground. So it looks like you've got it. So if you can adjust yourself to deal with a manana, you can do well here. You can live well here on very little. Everything is cheaper than the States except for Gasoline and electricity, those run almost exactly what the states run. Cell phones, man, if I spend $10 a month on my cell phone, that's a big bill. Um, Cable, like I said, and internet, even though I'm fighting with ESA because they're the only provider in the neighborhood, it's still reasonable. It's less than half for me than what it was in the States. Um, our electric bill runs about what ours in the States ran, which I'm not real happy about, but it is what it is. As long as you're not buying American foods, everything's so much cheaper at the grocery store for the most part, or the things that are imported are usually pretty comparable, not that expensive compared to everything else. Yeah, yeah. Y'all all come out and hang out with me. I mean, I'm one of them people. The more the merrier. It is a cheap cell phone bill, but the thing is, that's not paying for my cell. That's just my cell, and I'm doing the prepaid thing. And even if you sign up for the non-prepaid thing, where you have your phone and every month, it's still pretty cheap. It's just I don't use my cell phone for much except for WhatsApp or Skype. I'm always taking calls on Skype from the States with my friends and family. So I'm not making a lot of local phone calls for that $10 a month, but that's about what it's running each one of us, is what we figured. Mine runs a little longer, maybe 6 or 8 weeks, but my husband, that's about what it's costing him a month. But he's actually making calls here in Costa Rica. I'm not so much. Police wife, it was a number of things. My husband actually came up with the idea probably 6 or 8 years ago. He started talking about moving to Costa Rica. We used to joke when we were dating that when we got to retirement age, we were going to go someplace spectacular with a beach, someplace where there were lots of tourists so we could open Le Trap and make some money off tourists. Yeah, we joked about that for years, that it would be retirement to the beach. Um, there are a lot of people that know English here, by the way. And so your Spanish, you just need to know a little basics. So anyway, we've always joked about that. Then about 8 years ago, 6 years ago, he started talking a lot about Costa Rica. And I was like, I don't know anything about Costa Rica. I have had friends that have retired to Belize that were fabulous. They were always going on about it. So for me, I had Belize more on the brain than Costa Rica. So we started coming down to Costa Rica on visits. We started coming down on vacations. And it was absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Peaceful, slow moving. That's where the manana comes from. So it's kind of the flip side of the manana. It's the nice, peaceful. There's not an army here. They don't waste money on that sort of thing. Even the police force here is kind of lackadaisical. So, but there's not a lot of crime. So there were so many different factors, but mostly for us, the attraction was the low key lifestyle. We were retiring, and neither one of us wanted the hard pace of the States. We lived in the Washington, D.C. area in Virginia, and that is all go, go, go. We just wanted something that was different. We wanted something that was cheaper since we'd be living on a lesser income than what we were when we were in the States and we're both working. So, Costa Rica, slow moving. You're right. The sloths have something that they've done quite right. They're very slow animals. And I think it works out better that way. So for us, it's like a typical day. Today was a typical day. We both got up slowly. I had my coffee. I had my enormous iced coffee. Um, Spent an hour or two on the internet, got dressed. We felt like it. Went down to Issei, went down to the grocery store. We had to go down to the grocery store because today at Mega Super is 4 for 3. 4 things you buy and you get them for the price of 3. So that's the day we mostly grocery shop down there. It's like, yes. So we ran down there. It was wonderful. We know all the people that work there now. They're happy and greeting us and various things. And it was just pleasant. It was a pleasant experience. It's not like the States where you're almost fighting with other people sometimes to get to the line or whatever. So it was just nice. We came back home, did a few internet things. I'm doing this video. I'm about to go out there right outside this window and be out there with a hose, squirt the hell out of everything, and then I'm going to get in the pool. This afternoon, I got to work on taxes, but I don't have to. If I have a day like yesterday, I just had some sinus thing going on. I could not get my brain right. My husband has been had some teeth pulled and some rotten teeth pulled, and he's not right. We slept yesterday afternoon, and I got up, cooked dinner, and then we slept again. It's the freedom to be able to do that. And it's really the good doctors here. Yes, sweet tea. They're very good doctors here. The healthcare system is for the residents and for citizens. It's a socialized medicine situation, and it may not be the best care I've heard, but you have to become a resident to take part in that. The rest of us are on the economy. We're seeing the private doctors and the private hospitals, which are just as good as what's in the States. One exception, it's worlds cheaper. When I had my stroke almost 3 years ago, I got airlifted from the Tamarindo airport all the way to San Jose to Bolotano airport, and then taken by ambulance to Hospital Metropolitano. After 3 days and a whole lot of CT scans and MRIs and various things, and all kinds of treatment with different medicines, and an eye exam, I discovered that the entire bill that was $4,800 for a type of week that in the States would have run $60,000 to $80,000. Now we kept our insurance that my husband had through his job, and we paid not a penny, zero, goose egg. Our insurance apparently covers overseas, so if you have health insurance that you can hang on to, and you find out, make sure it's overseas, then that's your safety net. Now we go to the clinic here and see our regular doctors, and what they charge us for the visits is about what I was paying for copays in the United States. So I'm out that anyway in cash. But now I get to file and get part of it back. It's the best thing ever. It's really cut our healthcare costs tremendously, which is good because my husband fell off a ladder that was maybe this tall, and he broke his shoulder in 3 places, and they had to put screws in. Another airlift. We were also taken to San Jose and it's a 40-minute trip by air from San Jose. It's a 5 hour drive if you drive it. So they took us there. They repaired his shoulder. Later, the screws started working out. They took him there again and took those out. Well, we took him there. And they took those out. Surgery, same hospitals, same thing. We paid not a penny, not a penny. And pricing now in the United States, it's another really expensive surgery for the two things they had to do. And I can't complain. The healthcare here is really good, really good. And if you don't have healthcare insurance in the States, you can always get Blue Cross Blue Shield here in Costa Rica. They'll cover some things that's actually reasonable compared to, yeah. Yeah, the airlift bill is about $100,000 when you have that done in the States. Here, they were billing it at our insurance at the price, but it's in U.S. companies. I'm not real surprised. They figured out if they bill it at Costa Rican prices, it's a fraction. So it's not necessarily the cheapest thing in the world in the States. You can really get gigged on that one. And insurance doesn't always pay for that in the States, too. Here, we've been fortunate they paid for it all the way. Yeah, so even if you don't have, it is sweet tea. And if you do your work online, most of the time, the internet is good enough to do it. I just happen to be in a unique situation that I'm not even in a village. I'm in the scrap of a village that was turned into a neighborhood. I'm between this village, I'm between that village, I'm in this weird little shape space piece. And so we don't have access to the good internet, which is crazy in my opinion, because a couple of blocks away they got it. I just, I said, it's a weird triangular shaped piece of. It's not really a town. It's kind of just a neighborhood. Pricing there is ridiculous. Ridiculous. One of the craziest things that I've looked back and, I have mast cell. For 8 long years, I was on Xolair, which is a biologic, was one of the first biologics. I was on it for 8 years. It usually works 2 to 5 years for people, but I got 8 good years out of it because I had high IgA levels. It's like 27,000. It's supposed to be under 100. It worked wonders for me. I had good insurance that paid for all but about $80 a month. Here's the scary, crazy, outrageous thing. That therapy was $6,000 a month just for the drug, and my doctor billed my insurance company around $300 to do the injections. That is criminal, I think. I don't think drugs should ever cost that much. Now, it's come down a lot since then. I actually saw someone on a reality TV show, Sean, oh, not Sean, Scott from Love After Lockup, the season 3, trying to fundraise to pay for his Xolair. Xolair has come down to like anywhere from 1,000 to 1,600. I just laughed when I saw how little he was paying. I was like, that can't be. Anyway, it's come down a lot. There's no reason why drugs should cost that much at all. Um, Remember the EpiPen debacle? I have a pile of EpiPens, but when they went to $600 each in the States, um, yeah, I should own my own pharmaceutical company too, police wife. I really should because I take piles of it. I have my routines of what I have to take for my mast cell, what I have to take to keep my asthma check, what I have to take now for this left-sided crap I got going on. When EpiPens went to $600 a pen, and it's crazy because I used to, when I had the worst reactions with my mast cell, before they figured out what was going on and put me on Xolair and other things, I would go through 2 or 3 a week. I'd be constantly jabbing myself and going to the ER. It got to where I never even went to the ER after a while because that took that followed by injectable Benadryl and I was golden. But when EpiPens went $600 each, and I started ordering them from Canada where they were still under 100, I mean, that's outrageous because the thing that still gets me about the EpiPens thing, and I think it is a good indication of what's wrong with the drug companies in America. By the way, EpiPens do not exist here. I don't know why, but they said they don't have enough people having those reactions to get those. See, I still carry one with me. I still get mine renewed when I'm in the States. I haven't had to use one, knock on wood, for many years now, thank God. But I have the fear of God into me where I would not be going anywhere without having an EpiPen. I got to show you this. This is a lunchbox, but this is my purse. I think this is just the cutest thing I've laid eyes on. Don't hurry, be happy. That's the motto of my life now, and that's the big benefit of Costa Rica. So the EpiPen thing, EpiPens only cost about under $5 to make, and they're charging $600 for it in the States. Remicade, oh, oof, oof. Police wife, I've had that experience too, where I was put on drugs that I turned out to be highly allergic to. One of the most recent worst ones was I can't remember which one now, but it was a allergy pill that worked wonders for me. There was just one problem. It made me hallucinate like crazy. So it worked, but it didn't work. And that is scary when you have those kind of reactions, police wife. It really is. Been there, done that, gotten the shots, unfortunately. And that's why I tote around the EpiPen now, because I have had enough bad experiences. And it goes into weird territory sometimes. A couple of weeks last week, I was telling you about when I was flying with Delta, and I put, like usual, peanut-free flight because peanuts are a big allergy for me, even smelling the scent of them. And they kept chasing me down in the plane, going, "Are you allergic to peanuts? You're the peanut. You're the patient with the you are the client with the peanut allergy." Yes. But please, let's not make a big deal about it because it really doesn't matter. As long as you don't serve peanuts on the flight, I'm fine. If you serve peanuts on the flight and the guy next to me is eating them and blowing the peanut we're going to have a problem, and it's going to be a bad problem. It is terrifying. It's terrifying. I used to have, when I was having all the severe allergic reactions at the beginning of this, I used to have terrible panic attacks that went with it. And I'm going to give you a little hint on how I solve that. There's a way to deal with those too. You might try this. I got a basket and I sat down and started thinking about what would help me when I was having a panic attack. Well, I took my basket and I just filled it with all sorts of things. I put a little pillow in there. I put one of those little Walmart $2.50 fleece blankets in there. I put a pile of Mad magazines. I put a bottle of water, and I put in there a bottle of Xanax. Because when I would have those panic attacks like that, those terrifying episodes, I would want to crawl under the desk. Well, I kept this under my desk at home. So when I would have a panic attack, I would take my blanket and my pillow out and I'd lay on the floor. I'd pop a Xanax. I would start telling myself, this is temporary. You have to just get through this. You have to relax, relax. And I'd lay down on the floor under the desk and read Mad magazines until I could laugh. It helped a lot. Having a panic attack plan is something that, if you have panic attacks, can actually help you quite a bit. I also have plans now in place of what I do when I have an asthma attack. I have different things that I do. It helps if you had to, yeah, upper chick. It helps if you have a plan. If you can think about it beforehand and plan it and say, hey, I'm going to do this. And this is what's going to help me cool down. And also, just telling yourself, hey, this is just a tiny, short piece of time. This is not determinative. This is going to go away. All I got to do is relax. It helps too if you could get that in your brain and you make yourself say those things. It does work. Even pessimists like me who tend to gripe and see the wrong side of everything. Coping skills box. That sounds great, sweet tea. And yeah, listening to meditation can help. Um, I used to do at the time soaking prayer, which is basically meditation, but they call it something else. You listen to the music and you relax. Thanks, police wife. I'm just trying to get by. I'm trying to get through life like everybody else. I am just trying. Um, and that's what I find so frustrating about some of the people in the whole YouTube community and that's what I find so frustrating about some of the people in the whole YouTube community that they don't want to better people. They don't want to help anyone. They just want to run whatever their little narrative is. So anyway, now you've got to hear me rant about all kinds of crazy things. I started out talking about the manana and moved all the way to health with a stop in how expensive it is here, inexpensive, and pets. Like I said, that's the other good thing about here. There are so many wonderful microclimes. If I were to build a house in a tennis, it would help me a lot. I've thought about it because the tennis is up in the mountains, and I've stayed there before and actually been able to breathe down to the bottom of my lungs during the worst of my days. So it's good for that. And the other good thing I've got to say is there's no pollution. I mean, literally no air pollution. And every time I fly back to the States, I see a scrum of air in some of the little islands, and I start seeing that brown scrum of air pollution apply. That's one thing I have is air pollution and stopping coal from burning seriously, because that would help others with asthma. Coal burning is a huge trigger. Huge trigger. Yeah, come on, come on. Come visit me. I am very open to visitation here. I've got people that are coming soon, hopefully, and things are getting better here. There's very, very, very little COVID now. We have got on top of our COVID crisis again. And here where I am, there's almost none. I only know of one case. And I think that Costa Rica has done a pretty good job. We never got to US levels. We had a scary moment there of about a month where we were having about as much COVID as Wisconsin was having. And we're roughly the size of Wisconsin with roughly the same population. So that was a scary moment. I was afraid it was going to get a lot worse, but it tamped down. I really think that the air here, the fact that we're all primarily outside, it really helps. And having breathable, good air is the best. Okay, you guys, you hear I'm starting to get all choked up. So I'm going to go ahead and go. I hope you have a great day today. Keep trying to think positive thoughts if you can. I'm not real good about that, but in. Real entertainment news. Hey, I didn't even see you until just now. You coming in on the tail end of it. You just hearing me rant about Costa Rica. I'm not ranting about Catherine right now. Well, sweetie, here's the thing about the bugs. I'm not going to lie about it. There are a lot of bugs here. A lot of bugs. Big bugs, little bugs, bugs. It could be a problem. My husband gets bit all the time. He's got these huge infections. I almost never have that. I'm going to show you my last one and get to it without exposing. You probably can't see, but I have a big bug bite right there that has turned kind of crazy. Good dude, yeah. Real entertainment news. I don't know you well enough to know if you're a good or a bad person. I do know that some people had problems with you, but I don't want to have a problem with you. Peace. Pure Vita. The bugs, it's terrible here in some ways, but here's what I do. I have my house sprayed, just like the States. So it's not quite so bad. And dry season, one of the things that I've had problems with here is scorpions. There are scorpions here. The good news is they generally won't hurt you. Most of the time I see them, they're tangled up in something. They've strayed under my bedroom rug that I have on my side of the bed or something. Even on my side of the bed or something. Even if I gotta say this is kind of funny.